Coming to our Diverse Abilities Dialogues. I'm Jenny Paxson, and this is our work placement panel. Next month in November, we're having it on Zoom just because there'll be a bunch of people coming in remotely from all over. We're doing it on financial planning, and so we'll have people about ABLE accounts and other financial issues. Trusts, yeah. So that's something to look forward to next month. And if you sign up for it, you'll get the Zoom link. And that will be on that. So you'll have to go to that instead of the YouTube channel next month. And then it'll be recorded and put on YouTube afterwards. I work here at the library, the Webster Public Library, and I do our disability programming, and I'm also the adult fiction librarian. So I do a lot of different things here. I'm very lucky to have been able to partner with Autism Up and Parents Helping Parents Coalition of Monroe County to do these wonderful panels here at the library. And we really couldn't do it without that parent partnership. I feel like, we all lean on each other and we get information from each other, and we're very lucky to be able to have these wonderful panelists here today, because sharing information is the most important way to get that out there. Otherwise, you don't know what's out there. So I'm really lucky to be able to partner with them, and I'm going to have Britt come up from Parents Helping Parents and talk a little bit about their organization.
My name is Brittany Jensick. I am a mom to 21 children. 14 of my children have intellectual and developmental disabilities and medical disabilities. I also am the president of Parents Helping Parents Coalition of Monroe County. We try to support families that are struggling with some of the challenges of suspecting delays in disabilities, seeking evaluations, receiving new diagnoses, and then putting supports in place. We are super happy to collaborate with different organizations in the county to put on these panel presentations with Webster Library and Autism Up. We also do play dates every other month with Autism Up and Sprout Therapy Services. Our next play date is October 26th, which is a Sunday from 10 to 2 at Nazareth. It's our biggest play date of the year. We do a real big one in June too, and then we do ones in between. But this one, we will have all sorts of fall activities, a costume contest, food, vendors, resource tables. We really, at kind of the core of our mission, just want to kind of build the village, just pull the organizations together that are in this community in support of the individuals in this community, the families, the people that, no one should have to walk this journey alone. So that's our whole goal. We're super happy to have you guys here today. I think it's an important topic. I have children, my children with disabilities are 22 to 7. So I am really excited to hear about the opportunities that are available and learn from you guys.
And I also wanted to say that our new schedule for the next 6 months is out as well. So if you want to pick that up or look at our website to find that information, that would be great. So I want to ask our first question to the panel. So usually we start out with just who are you, what's your organization, what do you do for the community, and let's start over here.
Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay Murphy. I am the Disability Resource Coordinator at Rochester Works. So if you're not familiar with Rochester Works, we are a career center, so helping people with finding employment, connecting to employers. My role specifically is one that's across New York State. So a few years back, Department of Labor put out a grant to have disability resource coordinators in all career centers in New York State. We're still getting up and running in some areas, but there are about 28 of us across the state right now. all connected to career centers. So we are doing partnerships in the community with folks that are already doing the work like we have here today, but also making our career centers more accessible, helping provide opportunities for folks that are searching for work, as well as some workshops on things like how to disclose a disability to an employer, ask for accommodations. We're all benefits advisors as well, so we can focus on SSI and SSDI and the impact of work on those benefits. So I'm happy to hear about the ABLE account conversation next month. So that's a very brief synopsis. We're doing a lot of things.
I'm Wendy Lesko. A couple years ago, co-founded a non-religious nonprofit called Gathering Place Webster. And we started Gathering Place with the purpose of offering opportunities for community service for all ages and abilities. So we were targeting very specifically children and teens, and we wanted to make sure that they could actively participate often in community service, building community to serve the community. And so now we have about 25 active projects going on all the time, and most of them are connected back to a nonprofit somewhere in Rochester that's already doing the really good work of serving different populations, but they don't have the volunteers to do it. So we create projects that we do at Gathering Place here in Webster, and then I deliver whatever we've created to the nonprofit in Rochester. And we make sure that every project has something that every person could work on, with keeping in mind the wide range of ages and abilities that we invite to Gathering Place. So that's what we do, and consequently, we have a lot of projects that happen on Saturday mornings. We have a full calendar for the year, and then we have a Thursday drop-in where anyone can just drop in, and we do a variety of projects based on what is needed in the community or what that person likes to work on. If we get to know them and they tell us what they like to do, we'll create a project that will that they feel fulfilled when they're doing it. So our projects are out-of-the-box thinking. Sometimes it's filling a bag of hygiene items or snacks, or sometimes it's a bag called a feel-good bag for a young kid at Family Promise, or an art bag for the teens at Cameron Community. So we try to think out of the box, so we're not just doing the same old thing all the time. And we try to really listen to what the nonprofits need and what our volunteers like to do, and then we match it up with some creative thinking. And that's how I got to know Scottie. Scottie, his mom contacted me and Gathering Place to find out what opportunities there were for Scottie, and we were just trying to decide how to launch the drop-in Thursday for anyone. And then Pat emails and says, hey, what do you have? And I'm like, we have a drop-in on Thursdays. And Scottie's come for 2 years now, every Thursday. And he's an expert at all our projects. And we create projects that specifically Scottie has said he likes to work on. So I'll let it go to Scottie.
And my mom there, right? Thanks. And well, are you happy? The subject me, in case they're happy, food, and on the right. Me, I'm happy a bit, me on my YouTube, yeah, thanks. Very fun, I have. You're awesome. Me.
Oh, honey, you're awesome.
Thanks.
Yep, you're awesome. Scottie loves to help people.
Yep.
And if the project involves giving people food, he is there for it at the head of the line.
Yes.
That is for sure. He really loves filling entire grocery bags, but that's a lot of food for us to have on hand.
Yep.
So we He will do anything, and he calls it his job, and if his dad
Yep.
comes with him, he yells at his dad and tells him, this is my job, back off.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, so Scott, this is his job.
Yep.
And if Scott says to me he wants to do a project that involves food, and if we will find a nonprofit that needs food. We really like to feed kids,
Yep.
and we recently created Scottie snack bags. And
Yep.
they're snack bags that,
Wayne and me, through high school, for Quebec, Wayne, they say yes, and they say, you go to school, about your food. Kids are happy.
yeah,
No food, I cry.
yeah. So a couple weeks ago, he filled snack bags for the pantry at Spry. And then we have a 1211 class from Spry that comes to us regularly for the last couple of years, and they brought those bags back to the pantry at Spry. So those students were extremely happy that they were able to give back to their school. And then the next day, Scottie comes and he's like, he wants to fill more bags. And I said,
Yep.
well, we just gave some to Spry. And he said, well, what about Wayne County? And I'm like,
Yep.
okay. So Elaine, his life coach, okay.
Yep,
And Scottie, he filled
yep,
to the brim giant paper bags
yep,
and delivered them to the high school.
yes,
Yes, to the high school, so no one goes hungry.
yep,
And he will probably do that for the rest of forever, as long as we have food, he'll be delivering that,
Yep.
right?
yep,
Yep, so if it involves food or kids, he's there,
yep,
he's there. But he will also clean closets for me. We have lots
Yep.
of inventory and stuff. He moves boxes, he sets up tables and chairs for events.
dinner,
He counts everything.
yep.
I make you count a lot of stuff.
Who
and I-
cares?
Who cares? Like an entire closet, he will inventory, so,
Yep.
yeah. But,
Yeah, that's amazing.
anything else you want to say? What's your favorite thing in the snack bags?
Gummies,
Gummies?
yep. In the box out of my house, and you get happy.
Yes,
Yep.
he brings my recycles back to his house, so
Yep.
I'm happy. Okay, you like the Pop-Tarts in there, too? Yeah.
Yep,
And he gives away all his gluten-free mac and cheese, sorry,
Yep.
Pat.
and Mom have free, no, one my house.
Yeah.
That's amazing. My name's Kristen Housel. I'm the director and speech pathologist at Gigi's Playhouse. We offer a variety of programming at the Playhouse, but free of charge. All of our programming is free of charge. But the program I want to talk about today is called our Gigi Prep and Gigi University program, which is our career development program, and it runs for a full year. We have a fall session. It kicks off in the middle of September, and it runs for 10 weeks and meets 2 times a week for 4 hours. And then we have a spring session, which starts in February and runs for another 10 weeks. Same schedule. It's 2 days a week for 4 hours each day. It's an interview process. We open up registration and the application process in early spring. We do interviews by the end of the spring, just for planning purposes, and we send out acceptance letters in the summer so that families can plan. So it's like our version of college for adults with Down syndrome. So we just started our fall session, and we actually have 4 young ladies enrolled right now, and they're with me today. I brought them. They're in the front row. But the program really focuses very heavily on 4 main concepts, and it's communication, health and fitness, special interests, and it's food and nutrition, and then exercise. So those 4 components. So the first fall session is really working on goal setting, talking about, what are attainable goals, what are measurable goals. So every week, the group set a weekly goal. They have journals every day. They journal how much they're eating, what they're exercising. They track their goal writing. And then in class, we're working on interview skills, job application skills. And then in the spring, we come together, and that's when we really sort of hit the ground running, looking for what is going to be meaningful, either work and or volunteer placements once they graduate from the program. And this is our third time running this program. It's my first time leading it with my coworker Haley. And it really, we have a foundation, a curriculum that we follow, but we really tailor and adapt it to meet the needs of the group. So we will be doing lots of community outings, so that's why we thought this was a great opportunity to bring the group out, just because we're practicing all these skills, and we can only practice so much with the 6 of us. It's really important for us to get out into the community from the beginning and really, getting that exposure and that practice. So it's really exciting. We've really built some really great partnerships with local businesses. We've solidified jobs for all of our graduates in the past 2 years with these businesses, and we're always looking for other partnerships and collaborations to fulfill that need and that want to have a job and to have something meaningful to fulfill their time once they get to that age and when they're ready for it. It's a really neat program. Again, it's offered free of charge. There's an application process. And it's really great.
I love Gigi's Playhouse. That's actually kind of where this all came from for what I do. I'm Carrie Lambertino. I am a parent of only 3 children, not 21. And one of my children happens to have Down syndrome. So when he was born, I was fortunate enough to become part of the Gigi's Playhouse community. And with my work with Gigi's for about 5 years, I started meeting all these incredible adults who were able and willing to work, but there just wasn't the opportunity out there for them to do so or to be adequately supported in different positions. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool to open a business at some point where this could be where we put the center of inclusive hiring practices in the center of our business. Fast forward 6 years after Charlie was born, and we were given an incredible opportunity to open a very small little cafe in the Shotland Family YMCA. We were up against 7 other businesses, and the YMCA truly believed in what we were trying to do, building an inclusive workforce and developing work and job skills. So they gave us the spot, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have to do this, and I don't know what I'm doing. So fast forward an additional 3 years, I am the owner of Common Thread Brews. We have a small cafe location in the Shotland Family YMCA, and what we do is focus on either internships or paid positions for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And we just work off of when people come in, we meet everybody where they are, and we build supports on the fly. We quickly realized that we could not keep up with the demand of people wanting work exposure and experience and jobs. So we are right now in the process of building a new location that will be open in probably March 2026, where we'll be able to expand our offerings to more internships and jobs. So our jobs, Abby, we actually work with transition programs with a couple of different local high schools in the area, and people come in just for a couple hours and we start doing exposure to different jobs in the cafe. So maybe working on register, restocking, interacting with customers, our coffee service with the YMCA. Abby was amazing in her transition program with us. And now that we're expanding into a different role in early 2026, we'll have a lot more opportunities when it comes to maybe people who are not necessarily wanting to be customer service facing, but we'll have opportunities for manufacturing, packaging, order taking, online orders, and our office coffee services. So we're trying to develop that inclusive hiring practice. And really our goal is to show other businesses in this area that this is not only the way it should be, but it's good for business in our community.
Okay, so I have about 1,000,000 questions, but before I forget, Carrie Lynn, what, did I already forget? Oh, do the individuals that work with you have supports from their programs, their lives there, or do you provide the supports to the employees?
We have both. So we have some people who are coming in with their job coaches or their transition teachers. We train those people what we're doing, and then we work alongside of them. So they have that natural built-in support. And then we also have people who have just been peer, we work on like a peer mentor program. So we partner people with individuals in our cafe, and again, we build in the natural support that way. So it's kind of a twofold. And we really have just been making it up as we go, because trying to figure out.
That's what we all do,
Yeah,
right?
Trying to figure out the best way it works. And again, for some, it's coming in with that transition teacher. For some, it's we introduce you, and it's almost like a Best Buddies or a Big Brothers, Big Sisters model that we're trying to emulate, where we partner people who are a really good personality match, and then we go from there.
Interesting. Kristen, do the individuals in the program that you were talking about, I can't remember the name of the program, but do the individuals all have to have Down syndrome?
So we offer a variety of programming. This particular program, it's very small and very tight-knit. We get funding specifically for individuals with Down syndrome. That's not to say our other programs that are bigger and we have, more interns and more volunteers and support, that they are certainly welcome to come to those. But for now, this particular program, yes, it's very small, very tight-knit, and it is for adults with Down syndrome.
Is there a limit to how many? You said you had an interview process.
Mm-hmm. So it really depends on, right now, what we can offer as far as space and adults, not adult, but like instructional support. So we were able to take a little bit of a larger group this time. It is still small, it's only 4, but with Haley and I there together with them, it seems to be a nice fit for the space that we have. I mean, we would love for it to be bigger. We just need to find a bigger classroom.
Always expanding and growing.
Yes.
Wendy and Scottie, I think there's sometimes a misconception. I don't know about a misconception, but I guess I'd love it if you talked just a little bit about volunteer work being just as meaningful, to Scottie, to you, as paid work might be. I definitely personally have children that I don't really see in paid employment positions. But I know they very much want to be part of the community and doing things. I think an opportunity like yours would be fantastic for them. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of how it's meaningful to you, Scottie, and what it means to you to be associated with Gathering Place?
Fun. Yep. I can't cry, I can't. It's hard. So, one, I stay, one way, I can't, and, have fun. I stay.
Can I help you? I'm Scott's mom, and it gives him a sense of purpose and something he can do with pride and no pressure. When there's pressure, it gets hard. And communication is hard, huh, Scottie?
Yes.
And Wendy's been great, and she seems to have a knack for communicating.
Yeah.
We always talk about why we're doing whatever the project is, who are the people that this project is going to help. And Scottie fully understands that everything he does is helping somebody. He likes it when it's helping them eat, so that their bellies are full.
Yep.
So when we're counting deodorants for our care kits, that is like not super fun, but he knows he's doing it for a very good reason, and doesn't ever complain. I'd love to say that about all the people that come to gathering place, because if it's not exactly what they want to do, some people are not extremely happy about that, but Scott is fully involved. He knows who
Yep.
he's helping, and he knows why he's helping, and he never leaves until the
Nope.
job is done. He always wants to stay more.
Yep.
More.
Yep.
He wants to like take everything out to my car. He will
Yep.
deliver. Elaine would be stuck going all over Rochester all the time.
Yep.
If I let that happen. So,
Yep.
but
Yeah,
Scott
fine.
is he's happiest when he's with me anyway. He's happiest when he is doing something that he understands that will help somebody. And then he'll do anything. So even when we're setting up tables and chairs, which is a complete drag to have to do that, he knows people are going to sit down and eat a good meal because of that. So I could get him to set up tables and chairs for 10 hours because he knows someone is going to be able to sit down and eat.
Yep.
He is very eager and joyful and
Check.
very
See?
joyful.
Look how she happy.
And so, if doing hard work for someone you will never meet gives you joy, I get that. That's why I do it. So I get to meet a lot of the folks. Scott's never going to go and
Nope.
to Family
Check.
Promise, but he knows that he's helping some kid at Family Promise. You might meet someone at the high school when you bring the snack bags.
Yep.
Maybe. But the concept of never meeting the person that you're serving and still feeling joy about it, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You clearly help a lot of people.
Yep.
Hundreds, thousands over the
Yep.
last couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Lindsay, I was just curious, what does that process look like for somebody who is looking for a job? Like, how do you go about that?
Well, it's based on the person, right? So when anybody comes into Rochester Works, and the beauty of it is that literally anybody can come to us. We don't have specific populations we're working with. We work with people who are employed, unemployed, going through Department of Labor unemployment, required to come. But we're open to anybody. So with anybody who walks through a door, we have them meet with one of our advisors to kind of give initial steps of like, okay, this is where you're starting from. Maybe you're looking for your first job, or you're looking for advancing in your career or training. We have funding for training as well to get certifications or degrees. So we really just kind of start with where they're at first, see where their path has gone, whether they want to shift directions or stay within that field. And then if they're not connected to those supports, like we have here today, or we partner a lot with Access VR. So we'll help connect to services if they're not already connected. But then it's not, just pushing somebody and say, oh, go work with them. We're working very collaboratively with them still to work towards their employment goals. So if they want to get connected to a certain industry to work for, we have, like every week, businesses come to our office. They do open interviews. So anybody can come in and talk with a business, even if you're not to the point of actually applying to jobs yet, but you just want to know what it's like to talk to an employer. It's open to the public. Anybody can come in and do that.
Do you have like specific organizations that will work with people with developmental disabilities that?
So part of my role and across the state, what we're trying to do is make every employer inclusive and hire people of all abilities. So we might, have ones that we know have hired folks, but that's probably one of the number one questions I get when people come in is, do you have a list of disability-friendly employers? And I know of some personally, but prior to this, I was a job coach for 7 years prior to this position. So I know what employers I've worked with. But my role is to, if somebody wants to work at a company that I don't know has hired anybody, what we're doing is talking with that employer. What are your hiring practices? What kind of supports do you have within your company? How to make things more disability friendly within the organization. So we're working on both sides of the job seeker, but also the employer. So we have coalitions locally that we're working with employers to provide that education. We actually have one next Tuesday we're doing for the kickoff of National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So yeah, we're kind of bridging both sides together.
Kristen, can you tell me a little bit about what the end of your program looks like, what the end of those 10 weeks looks like, what you hope that the individuals are taking away from your program? Do you try to, I mean, I assume it's all completely individualized, but do you have connections with employment for the people that are kind of graduating from the 10 weeks? Or do you give them the skills to then kind of go out into the community and do that on their own? Or what is it that they kind of, what does the end of your 10-week program kind of look like?
Yeah, so that first 10 weeks is really, it's working on the skills and getting out into the community and practicing those skills. And then the second 10 weeks in the spring is where we're going out and visiting potential placements that we've partnered with, that have showed interest, and that sort of thing. So we're actually going out into the community in the spring between those 10 weeks.
So it's the same people that participate in all 20 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
I'm
it's a
sorry, I thought it
full,
was two different-
oh,
two
that's,
separate
no, I'm
sections.
sorry, I probably wasn't clear. Yep, it's the same, it's one group that goes the entire year together. And then, so that second half is really looking for those potential partnerships. And we have some that we have already have paid positions or volunteer positions that we know of. And I'm always asking everybody, if this is a potential, then, you know, let's see what we can do with this. And we do have a big graduation in May. We have a big graduation ceremony at the Playhouse. It's wonderful, and yeah, we celebrate everything, and little or big at Gigi's, but this one it's a really big to do there. Yeah.
So like Lindsay, again, sorry. Like when a parent, like, do you work with parents and caregivers then who may be trying to find placement for their child? And what does it look like when a parent or when a person with a disability comes in? How does that process look when they are looking for employment? And like, what is that kind of that success rate for them to find somewhere to work? I just was curious.
Yeah, I mean, so I mentioned, so the recruiting events, we have a business service department. So we have folks that their whole job is to build connections with employers. So if somebody comes in and says, you know, I want to work in this type of field, when we're building that relationship with the family, if family's involved, then, you know, we're thinking about on the back end, okay, let's talk with our business service department. What connections do you have in this field you think might be a good connection? We can do kind of a warm handoff. So if somebody's got a resume or wants to come to one of the recruiting events, like, we can be there to support them at the event. Or just follow up afterwards and say, hey, I got this good candidate that is, you know, I'd recommend, you know, you reaching out to them to set up an interview or something. So we don't do direct placement services. We are more building the connection to bring both sides together, which is maybe a little bit different, but, you know, we're still trying to build the connection with the right people at the organization. So rather than just applying online, we actually have somebody that we could follow up with. Yeah.
And you said you work with Access VR. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I don't know if everybody's familiar with Access VR.
So when I was job coach, it was under Access VR Services, so I'm very familiar with them. So we are both workforce development related, right? So because we're both aligned and receive similar funding, their specialty is, you know, solely folks that have a barrier to employment, disability related, where we're open to anybody. But because of that, we refer kind of back and forth. So we have an Access VR counselor that comes every Tuesday to our office, so we can set up appointments with them to get that process started for enrollment. If somebody is open with Access and maybe working with a job coach, I work with a lot of the job coaches in the area. So maybe they're bringing their folks to those recruiting events or attending some of our workshops that are disability related. We do a disability job search group a couple times a month, different topics. So we do that on Zoom. So maybe they'll have some of their participants in a room and just Zoom in with a group. So we are collaborative, we're not one or the other, but obviously both still focused on employment. It's just if I have somebody that comes in that I think might benefit from a job coach and being able to go with that person on site, that's typically when we're connecting, which not everybody who comes into our center needs that. So we really, it's just case-by-case kind of thing, yeah.
Carrie Lynn, do you work with Access VR or job coaches? I know you said you have a buddy system, so is it more so working with like one of the people that you've hired, or how does that process work?
So we have actually been in conversation with XSVR. We were not ready or set up because we're such a small organization. So they are definitely one of the organizations that we have a waiting list of organizations that want to partner with us, and we just can't accept all of it at the moment. We're looking forward to being able to bring on more employment. So it is, we really, like I said, we have been faking it this entire time, just trying to develop process and procedure and see what works. So we really have done a variety of different things. People come and approach us, and if we can bring on more people at that time, we work with that particular, like I said, mostly right now we're with transition programs through high schools, and then we have families who have reached out to us personally that we've been able to work out work schedules and training schedules with. So I'm not quite in the big leagues with Access VR and some of the other community organizations that really work on workforce development, but we're aiming to get there. Yes, we're working on it.
So that like internship based, so that means that it's kind of got like a start and end date then, and then do you help people find other employment, or how does that work?
We've actually, some of the people who have come on, and this is what I'm finding, which is very interesting, like the limits on what people potentially could be making because of their Social Security or things that they're collecting. And my little guy is only 9, so I haven't really broached that road, but I'm slowly learning from the adults that are working with us. Some families that have come to us really cannot have their child or the person who wants to work with us, they can't collect a paycheck. So they set their schedule and they come in, just like maybe what Scottie is doing. You're going in and you're doing the work and really enjoys what they're doing, and that's their internship and their role. We have other individuals that have started as interns and now are full paid positions with us. So that's how we've worked it, and again, we're at limited capacity to be able to expand as much as we want to. So it really is on an individual basis on what works for that person, not only for their life and their schedule, but for their benefits that they receive.
And like your new location, I know you might not know exactly, but how many people do you think you'll be able to accommodate there?
So right now, we're looking to double our workforce, right? So right now I have 15 paid individuals. I have an additional, what am I at? Like an additional 10 to 12, depending upon who comes and goes on interns. So we're looking to double that as soon as we open our doors.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, very cool.
Is it a similar business, or did you pick something completely different or complementary? Or?
So we had been looking for a location that would house not only a cafe environment, where we could run a retail center, and that would be a totally different entity where we want to reach out to different organizations who have maybe individuals who have developmental disabilities that have micro businesses. So perhaps they create cards, or they do have sewing or jewelry, whatever it is. We want to be able to bring that particular population's artistry and whatever into our store as a retail hub for them. So that will kind of promote the micro businesses of individuals who just do their own thing and want to become a more known artist or whatever their talents may be. So that will be in the portion of our cafe. We'll still have our cafe service. And then the area that we're really excited about, because like I said, we realized that very quickly that the cafe business, we can't have tons of people in there. It gets chaotic and hectic. But we are going to be opening, we have a couple of clients right now who get office coffee service. And what that looks like is we manage their offices, and we bring in their coffees, and we bring in all the allied goods that go along with a coffee service. And so we have people who help us manage that. So we're taking orders from our customers, we're counting it out, we're packaging it together, and then we're delivering it to them, and making connections with those particular people in the different offices that we serve. So that middle section of our new location will have our production floor. And then the last section of our new location is all offices and conferences, because we don't really have a place currently to train individuals in an environment, and maybe like we've said, low pressure. That's a really big thing that we realize in our spot. It's just our spot. We have no other extra room to kind of go off and practice skills before we're live and in person with people. So we'll be able to have that training facility and offices so that we really can build programming and build training that works for everybody. Because right now it doesn't work for everybody, and we want to do better. So.
That's awesome. That's an entirely different skill set too, which is really cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited because we can just branch out and build, different opportunities. My background, I actually was a teacher for 15 years, and I strongly believe in inclusive environments. And I just think that the more that people, like everyone here, the more that people get a chance to interact with individuals that they may not be able to interact with, someone with Down syndrome or someone with autism or, whatever the case may be, the more it becomes just commonplace, and the more that you look at that common thread between humanity and individuals, and that's really what our mission is, to create that ripple effect in our community so that people realize that there's value to everybody in our community, and we all have a really important role to play. So.
What does that interviewing process look like for somebody who may want to work with you?
So we have an application that people fill out, and they come in and meet us, and we just chat, and we just start if we have the space to fit people in. And again, if people see our spot, you'll understand when I keep reiterating that it is super tiny. 5 people in that spot is way too many people at one time. So we come in and then we just work with the individual who wants to work with us, and we get to know them, and then we just start. We jump in, we see what the interests are, what they gravitate toward. We try to do exposure to everything, but sometimes people are completely not interested in food prep, for example, and they just want to be on the register, and then that's what we stick with. So we're really flexible, and because we're small, we can do that pretty easily.
Cool. Kristen, what does that interviewing process look for your program? I was just curious.
Yeah, so the application, it's available on our website when we open it up. So it's an online application that they have. I think we have it open for maybe 6 weeks. And then we shut down the application, and then Haley and I go through all the applications. We interview everybody, and then we decide whether or not it's a good fit. And then from there we figure out, I know in the past, anybody that wasn't a great fit for the program, now I can work something out with them on my own. Being a speech therapist, I've done an intro to prep class for a whole year with individuals, and then they've tried again and gotten in successfully. So we're lucky where we can really accommodate, like Carrie Lynn, and really just do what has to be done to make sure that they're successful and get what they're looking for.
I was just curious, what types of questions do you ask them during the interview?
So the application itself, it's something typically they do with their parents, but it's like basically what a typical day looks like for you. Because of that health and nutrition and that exercise component, there's questions about that. What do you like to do to stay fit and healthy? What are your favorite things to eat? What do you like to cook? What's your role in meal prep at home? Then there's there's a money component too. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, like a money management component. So there's questions about that. But yeah, and with both Haley and my background, we're really fortunate. We can really expand who we can take in, because we do have that background where we can really accommodate to anybody really. And we want to show that, it's not just a program for those kids that are, that you see that are the higher functioning kids. It's available to everybody. Whoever really wants to be in the program, we really want them to be a part of it. And whether or not they're in it this year or they're in with my intro to prep class that I kind of, I follow the curriculum but adapt and modify, and we really want everyone to be successful with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lindsay, well, I guess everybody. I'm sorry about that. That's all right, I can be loud. What do you find most when you're dealing with employers or making the connections or any of that? What are you looking for in terms of from an employer, in terms of feeling as if it's a good fit, feeling as if they are genuinely an inclusive opportunity? And if you don't, I know you in particular, Lindsay, said that you're, part of your role is trying to kind of help employers be more inclusive. How do you do that? Because I almost feel like it's one of those things that if you don't understand, it's really difficult to understand.
Yeah. One of the things we're doing with employers, so I partner with the business service relations person at Access VR, Jen Geiger. So we go out a lot to businesses and we'll do actual presentations with management, because starting with management and trickling down to those folks that are doing the interviews or the recruiters that are in the community, when somebody does disclose a disability, what's their next step? How are they reacting to that? Because yes, you can tell when somebody hasn't worked with somebody with a disability before. I interacted with that a lot when I was a job coach, just going out to companies, and you just walk in and you can tell who you're talking to. But I think, again, starting with management and trickling down as far as policies that company has, or where they are recruiting. Are they reaching out to disability-friendly organizations and, showing that desire to have these conversations? One of the coalitions, I said I'm part of the employment, actually I'm the chair of the Employment Equity Coalition locally, so we're trying to get more employers on board. So we are doing more events to try to just spread awareness and get people to the table to have the conversations first, and foremost about what is an inclusive workplace. So we start there and slowly work our way out with different topics and connecting to organizations that are looking to place people into jobs. But yeah, we'll start with just the basics. What does disability mean? What disability awareness? And then we kind of go into more of like, what is a job coach? What is the role a job coach has? How do you recruit folks? We'll branch off into those topics.
What should, I guess for all of you, what should somebody do if they want to contact your organization to find out more? Like what should be their first phone call or website? What would you like somebody to do to reach out to you?
I can start.
Go ahead.
We have a website, and you could just put your name. We have a form on the website, and that gets directly emailed to us. And they can start from there, or you can pop in to the Shotland Family YMCA and say you were there to see the cafe, and you can come and meet us.
Can you give us your website?
Yep, it's just commonthreadbrews.com.
Same, we have an interest form on our website. We have information on our website about the program. And then our contact is there too. So all three of Donna, Haley, and I, we're always checking emails and following up. So either or we're happy to chat with anybody about. And it's just gigisplayhouse.org/Rochester.
Most people just email gatheringplacewebster@gmail.com or go to the website and contact us through that way. Nearly every event we do is just drop-in. The only thing that is not just drop-in is camp. You have to register for camp. This Sunday supper, free Sunday supper, volunteers are asked to contact us ahead of time just so we don't get 50 servers. Same with Baber Hot Lunch. We do a free meal off-site in Rochester once a month, and we like to know how many volunteers we're getting for that. But virtually everything else we have is just drop-in. So people can just drop in at any time, see what we're doing, give it a try. If it's not their thing, they can leave. There's no strings attached, just drop in.
And Rochester Works, it's rochesterworks.org. You can fill out an info email on there, or you can just give us a call, and that main line, they'll direct you to our disability services, which is either myself or my counterpart, Mary Ellen. I also want to put out there, so I mentioned we're across the state, so under the New York State Department of Labor site, it's called SCION is the acronym for our grant, so it's Systems Change and Inclusive Opportunities Network. So if you were to go on their website, you can see the list of all the DRCs that are across New York State. So if we're looking kind of on the east side of Rochester, my counterpart, because I cover Monroe County only, but my counterpart covers Ontario, Seneca, Yates, and Wayne counties, and his name's David Kelly. So we partner a lot together too.
I had a question for you, Wendy. How many, I know you said, certain times you only have like way to accommodate like 50 servers, but like how many people?
I don't want 50 servers.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
you're saying like for groups, like
Yeah.
how many people can you accommodate to like, I know you say all your things are open to everyone. Do you
Right.
like prefer that people come with a job coach or, you know, how do you do that?
It totally is up to that person's need and preference. We have a very large space, we're very fortunate, and, I mean, some of our events, like filling bag lunch outreach, when we're making bag lunches for House of Mercy, we'll get 35 people or so, but more.
And a coach, and a hats,
Yep.
and mitts, and socks.
Yeah, we do a lot of events where we're filling bags, cold weather kits, or hygiene kits,
And
and
on the, that's a cold, hot hands.
the hot hands go in the cold weather kits for sure. And so we set up, Scottie sets up giant assembly lines for all of the
Buckets.
events. So,
The trees get happy.
yeah.
Hey,
Yes, does it to make me
maybe
happy.
say, maybe have Facebook, Instagram, and call me, help.
That's right.
All you nice, I stay well, worry when you go home.
Yeah, that's true. He would come, he does set up for all our events.
All you have, pasta, and then card, and tape your on, and then the dinner. Hey, all stay without money, all you have. And I say, Mom, telling me, go shop and you have money. And me, I'm born, Mom said, telling me, good money, and pasta and dinner. That's it.
So he does do all those things. But so a lot of our projects are giant assembly lines. So you, I mean, tons of people can come to that. Yeah, and so then there's always a component where every bag we fill, no matter what it is, has a note in it. So we have a big art table where people who like to do something like that are either decorating the bags
Yep.
or making the notes that go inside the bag. Some people, that's not their thing. Some people, that's all they do, and they don't want to go through the assembly line. So families will come and they all split up and do whatever part of that job. We had recently made 40 lasagnas
Yep.
for like 168 people through
See,
Lasagna Love.
box don't need,
Yeah.
gummies, don't need, that way.
Yeah, so Scott knew that making lasagnas, though he liked to eat the lasagna, making them was not his thing.
Nope,
So he,
me, cut out a tape,
yeah,
a top.
he put the labels on the top of each lasagna that
Yep.
had the instructions for baking it and the address for the driver. We had to have drivers delivering all these lasagnas.
Yep.
So he and Elaine, his coach,
Check.
very quickly decided, looking at what was available, what was going to be the thing that spoke to Scottie, and the labels, that was his thing. And so
Yep.
he took care of making sure all of the lasagnas were covered and labeled and ready to go. And they got snack bags.
Yep.
Which you got to get all the snack bags out for each lasagna, so
And
the
a
family.
box of the high school, the kids no food, eat.
Yeah.
That's sad, box of out high school.
Yeah, so he likes to feed the high school, so.
Yes, see, high school, OP, OE. For my school, me get happy, kids will eat food, you get happy.
It's a byproduct, I'm
Yes.
happy.
Well, we know that Scottie is a huge, I don't know what, you're very proud of that, that Scottie has been so successful. What other success stories, I couldn't think of the word success story, like Lindsay, Kristen, and Carrie Lynn, like what, can you just say like a success story from your program that you've seen? Like, I mean, if you can't be specific, I get it, but just wanted to share some positive stories near the end of this presentation.
I'll say one, and it kind of goes back to the benefits piece. I know there's been conversation about benefits, but that's something that we do a lot of, is conversations about working away off of benefits or how to work and keep benefits. So I had somebody, he literally was getting like every benefit known to man. He had been out on medical and had many medical things going on. Wanted to get back into the workforce, ended up taking a full-time job and was like, all right, now what's going to happen to all those benefits? So we were able to talk about the impact on all of those things, what to expect, how to communicate with entities like Social Security, and now is through his job, got further certification and training and is now leading a department. So he's one of our success stories, and we're building a new website. We're going to have more success stories on there. Coming up the next couple of months, we're going to launch that. He's one of them on there. So I know he's fine with me sharing his story. Yeah.
Well, like you said, we've had 2 graduating classes come through the program, and everybody has sort of found their spot, whether it's at a paid position or a meaningful volunteer position. But I guess, I think probably one of the biggest success stories is one of our participants went through the program and he decided, he has an opportunity at Wegmans, and it was before he even graduated that he took the initiative. He went to Wegmans on his own. He filled out a job application, he interviewed, and he got the job before he even graduated the prep program. So there's successes every day. I think whether it's using your device to greet somebody, or we have successes every day, but and we celebrate those. But I think if I had to pick one I thought that was really great, taking the initiative. He had the confidence, he had the skills, and he went out and did it all on his own. I think that was amazing. Yeah. I just wanted to share 2. One individually for one of our employees who started as a paid intern and then worked his way into a full-time for him. He works almost about 20 hours a week, paid position. I ran into him and his mom actually about a week ago when I was out in town, and his mom was crying, and then he was also telling me, they're like, you have changed our life. And I'm like, I haven't changed. I haven't done anything. You have done this, because you were given an opportunity. And I think that that's really all it takes. He was overweight. He didn't have any interest. He really never left his apartment. And now he has this whole social life that he's developed because he's making his own income and he's going out and he has his coworkers. And just because there was an opportunity that he took and he rose to the occasion, he showed what his skills were, and we just put in supports to make him as successful as he's become. So there's that, and we're all sitting there sobbing, and it was just one of those moments where I'm like, okay, because it's hard to be a small business owner and really not know what you're doing, but I'm driven by the passion of what I know I want to see out in our community, and so that's where we start. And there's a lot of, it feels like failures a lot of times, because I'm not accomplishing as much as I want, or you're not able to bring in as many people, but those are the moments where I'm like, okay, keep going. So that's one huge thing that just happened recently. And then the other thing is that I've had 2 local businesses just in the last 2 weeks reach out to me to talk to me about how we've been bringing people in and how we can make that successful. And that is the piece that I think is, if I had to say, like, I was most excited about, that's it, because that's what I am hoping that we can do. I don't know if anyone's ever seen, there's a company, I think it's called Downcore, who they put out a Down syndrome awareness video every year. And there was one that was with Sting, the singer. And he sings this song, and it's about the hiring chain. And it basically shows one particular small business that brings on an individual with a disability, and then they walk into the bakery that day, and then someone sees that, and then they hire another person. It's the hiring chain. And that's really what we're trying to put out there. We want people to see that this is feasible, it's not scary, it's not hard, it actually is beneficial to everybody, not just the individual that you're hiring, but your entire team, the community, and we just want to see that ripple effect continue. So just in the last few weeks, 2 businesses reach out to me and say, can we sit down, can you tell me what you're doing, how can we incorporate this? That's a huge successful win for us.
That's awesome. So we're almost near the end, and I was wondering if you have any words of wisdom that you would like to share. I feel like, Carolyn, you've kind of shared some there, but if you have anything else you'd like to add, for parents who may be I don't know, really nervous. I know that transition time between going out of school and becoming an adult is very scary for parents and for the adults becoming adults, you know. So what would you say to these people as they're becoming into the workforce?
Whoever wants to start. Nobody wants to start.
I just think, what I'm finding is that people are coming in, someone asked about how you know if it's a good fit. There are some people that have come to us because their parents have pushed them to come to us, and it necessarily wasn't a good fit, because that's not what they wanted to do. So I hope that parents really encourage and find something like, Scottie, you're a mom, and you guys have found this fit that works so incredibly well for you, right? You love what you're doing. Find things that you love what you're doing, and then just start getting out there. Like I said, with our company, people come in and they might not necessarily want to learn how to be a barista, but they love doing the register. And so that's what we do. So find what you love first, and then we try to create the opportunities around that.
Those are good words for anybody.
Follow your passions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very similar. I think, one overriding theme is finding what's motivating and what makes you feel good. And I think that, like what Carrie Lynn said, it's not just impactful for the individual that's looking for the job and gets the job. There's so much that I know I learn every single day working with individuals with Down syndrome that I wouldn't learn any other way. And we have an overlying theme at Gigi's, and it's your goodness is your greatness, and we spread that everywhere, because they truly, there's just something inherently wonderful, and I think that we need more of that in the world, and I think that there's a place for everybody, and I think it's just finding what motivates you and what you're passionate about for anybody. Yeah.
We love everybody, and we try to think out of the box to create opportunities for young adults and children of all ages and abilities to do exactly what makes them happy. So I do make Scottie do things that doesn't make him happy, but I always make sure that if he's setting up tables and chairs, that he also gets to fill a bag, or, and we do create projects based on ideas that our volunteers come up with. Like, I live in Webster. All the students that come to us, most of them are from Webster. So it made sense for us to bring snack bags to Spry, and Scottie's like, hey, there's other schools. So, I mean, all he had to do was say that, and now we have snack bags going to other schools. So we tried to listen to our volunteers, so if something really does speak to them and they really do want to do it, then we make a project so that they can do that. And that goes for anybody.
Both. Food that ways. And you also food. Your place, the food. For you, the house, the pasta, for your house, both your house, pasta. When both of us are happy.
Yeah,
That's it.
he doesn't want anyone to be hungry.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good goal. Yeah.
he doesn't care if they get a hygiene kit, though.
Yeah? Or maybe, like you, maybe.
Doesn't bother him at all.
I'll just echo what was said down there about searching for work and career exploration. I mean, it starts with the same basic core things for anybody. It's your interests, your skills, and your abilities. So yeah, there might be some other things thrown in, some other supports you might need, but we're all just looking for that right fit, regardless of who we are. So that's how we kind of treat it.
Well, thank you, everyone. You've been all amazing. This was, as we always say, this is the best panel ever. And we really appreciate all coming. And if anybody has any questions or anything that you'd like to ask at the end here, you can pop up and ask our panelists. All right, thank you, everyone. And thank you to Parents Helping Parents and Autism Up for collaborating.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.